Hello, I'm Kate Driver, Naturopath and the Peri-Menopause practitioner. And welcome to part 2 of my sleep videos. Now, last time I spoke about waking up between 2 and 4 a.m. in midlife and why this can be happening. And some of the reasons that I went through were because of spikes in cortisol, because of spikes in histamine, and also talking about the vagus nerve and light exposure and your circadian rhythm. And I also talked about how the liver and the kidneys can actually be most active at that time of night and how they may need some support and can wake you up at this time also. So in this video, what I wanted to do is expand on the liver and the gallbladder and go a little bit deeper into this issue, because when women have chronic or long-term sleeping issues, it can be a sign that the body's detoxification processes are a bit sluggish and need some support. And this can go hand in hand with hot flushes and night sweats, or headaches and migraines, heavier periods, and things that actually are just popping up that are becoming chronic. And no matter what you do, you can't get rid of them. It may mean that you need to look at helping your body detoxify more efficiently. So quite commonly, when the liver and the gallbladder are more sluggish and not working as efficiently, it'll wake you up between 2 and 4. But let's just say at 3 a.m. This is a really common time for women to wake up at 3 a.m. And I hear this from clients all the time, and I've heard this for the last 25 years with my clients. That, I wake up around 3 o'clock or 3:30 or 2:30. And it seems to be the most common time if women can go to sleep fairly well, but wake up then. And this is when the liver and the gallbladder are the most active. And when they're having a hard time detoxifying your body and not doing their job efficiently, that this will wake you up. This causes a rise in cortisol and will make you feel wide awake. And this is the time that our body needs to repair, to be, repairing our cells, to be detoxifying and reducing inflammation and balancing our hormones. So if this is not happening efficiently because we're not detoxifying, then this can have an ongoing effect. So the bile actually removes toxins and bacteria and histamines and things like bad estrogens or xenoestrogens from our body. So if we're not having a good bile flow, and this can be because of the changes in hormones in midlife and slowing down of the metabolism, then this is going to mean that so many different things build up in the body, not just toxins, but also things like histamine, which I talked about in the last video also. And also we're not clearing the bad cholesterol from our body. So that is something that people don't look at or talk about when it comes to cholesterol rising in this time of life. It can be also the sluggish bile that's not helping your body eliminate it. So bile is really, really needed, and we need to look after our liver and our gallbladder and our bile production. So why are women getting these issues, and more as we get older? Because you may have felt that this didn't really affect you when you were younger. It's because of aging and because of the change in your hormones, but we're also now in our today's lifestyle and our environment, we're getting exposed to so many more chemicals and toxins compared to what we once did, even like 50 years ago. And what we need to first look at is, it can be just, things that you're using on yourself, your personal care products, your hair care, your skin care, any of the chemicals in there, the body gets overloaded. And I remember years ago, it was probably about 20 years ago now, there was a study on women, and they talked about women being exposed to at least 100 different types of chemicals before they even leave the house, because of what they get exposed to with their personal care, their cleaning products, even chemicals, things like preservatives in foods as well. So now, this is 20 years ago, this is probably double, I would say. So you need to look at what you're getting exposed to, because this is going to be something that your body is having to deal with all the time. So it can be from your personal hair care, skin care, deodorants, makeup, And it can also be from cleaning products, from your medications. If you're prescribed medications, your body has to deal with that every day, and your liver and your kidneys have to metabolize them. It could be even painkillers you take a few times a week. But then the other things that aren't as obvious to some people, because they just are a part of society and are very, very well accepted, is alcohol and caffeine. And if you're having these two daily, then that's putting an extra load on your liver. So what else is there? There's histamine also that the liver and the gallbladder need to clear. So as the hormones change, and particularly in perimenopause when there's estrogen surges, you can get histamine surges as well. And the body needs to be able to clear this histamine, and the liver and the gallbladder actually, and the bile, that's its job to actually eliminate, will push through the histamine through the stools in the intestines. So if this is sluggish, then we're actually increasing histamine in our body as well, which I spoke a little bit about in the last video. So what we need to look at then is that we need this bile to reduce inflammation in our body, so and for our detoxification. And if this is because we're going through midlife, then we need to look at, yes, supporting our hormones, but more importantly, supporting our liver, our lymphatic system, our bile and our gallbladder. And what we can do is, apart from looking at what's in our environment and reducing it, so looking at, okay, let's change some of our chemicals and toxins that are around us into more natural forms. So we can use natural cleaning products. We can start changing our skincare and our makeup into natural organic forms, which there are loads. If anybody wants any tips, I've used them for a very long time now, and I've got some great favorites I'd love to share. So if you want to put a comment below and ask me what my favorites are, I would love to share them with you. Then we want to look at reducing those xenoestrogens. One of the first things I tend to try and get people to do is look at the plastics. The plastics are probably the most worrying that we get exposed to all the time. So try not to buy food in plastics, try not to store them in plastics, particularly in the fridge and if they're warm. And also drinking water. Don't drink water out of plastic bottles. So these, even though they might be BPA free, these plastics also can cause hormone imbalance, and there's also a toxin that our body finds it harder to clear. So looking at those things in our environment and our personal care would be one of the great first steps to take. And the other great thing that our liver loves, and I talked about this in the last video, is water, and pure alkalized water that can help the liver and the kidneys flush out. So you need to be trying to have at least 1.5 to 2 litres a day, depending on your body weight. If you weigh more, then you need to drink more water because you've got more cells. The more cells mean you need to produce more energy in these cells. So we need the water also to flush our liver, our kidneys and our lymphatic system out. So we can support our lymphatic system too by drinking lots of water and eating cleanly and exercising and movement. And even things like infrared saunas or normal saunas, any sort of sweating or dry skin brushing can actually help the lymphatic system. And when your lymphatic system is being supported, because there's no heart to pump it around, we actually need movement to help this lymphatic flow. This lymphatic flow works together with the liver and the bile. And if your lymphatics are sluggish, then your bile and your liver will be sluggish as well. So that's why I always mention the lymphatic system at the same time. So you can do these exercises, even things like rebounding a few times a week can help the lymphatic system, but just generally go for a walk, try and move the body, swing your arms a lot. This can get the lymphatic flow moving. So drinking a lot of water, particularly in the morning when you wake up, I try and get people to have at least a few glasses of warm water with lemon juice or apple cider vinegar, and this can help flush the body and the liver and the kidneys. And apple cider vinegar is generally great for meals to help you digest your food more efficiently, but this helps stimulate the production of bile as well before your meals to help you break down fats. And then you want to make sure, talking about fats, that you're eating good fats, because this helps the bile production and keeping it really thin and not sluggish. And this is what we want, a nice flow. and it helps with the gallbladder contraction, so it releases the bile. So don't cut down on fats and look at the good fats like olive oil and coconut oil and avocados and oily wild-caught fish and nuts and seeds. These are good fats that you can have in your diet that will really support the liver and the gallbladder. And then you want to have bitter foods, and I always talk about dandelion root tea because this stimulates the production of bile, which is great, and it's a good alternative to coffee if you're trying to give up caffeine. And then bitter foods like rocket or arugula, bitter greens, even those bitter herbal mixes that you can buy from a health food shop or from a naturopath like myself. And gentian's one of my favourite ones, but dandelion root tea is a good start. Then what other bitter foods have we got? Endive, and there's some other, leafy greens that actually are bitter, some of the darker coloured and red coloured ones. So if you're having lots of salads with bitters in there, that's great. And then lastly, just make sure you're having a regular bowel movement, because if you're not having a regular bowel movement, then toxins are building up in the body, and this will put more stress on the lymphatic system, the liver and the gallbladder, because you're recirculating toxins, and this is not what we want. We want to have at least one bowel movement a day. So making sure that you're drinking the water to help with that, moving and eating good quality fibre from natural sources, from plant foods more so than grains. And this can go a long way to help you have good bowel movements. If you're not, then it can be also a bile issue, because people with constipation at this age tend to have sluggish bile. And that's why I love talking about it, because it's so important. And most people don't think about this when it comes to sleeping. So if you look after your liver, your gallbladder, and help your body detoxify more efficiently, you shouldn't be waking up at that time at night. And if you'd like some more tips and would like to know how to also get a better sleep and all the things that I mentioned in the last video, including what I'm talking about now, then please grab my free sleep guide. It's for women in midlife particularly, and why you wake between 2 and 4 a.m. And it's got some great practical and natural tips in it. So I'll put the link below, and if you want to grab that, then please do, and you'll get a good sleep in the next few weeks. I wish you a wonderful sleep from now on, and if you haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for listening, and I'm wishing you a very good sleep. Bye.